So when we first hear, I think God is sovereign, maybe some of you were hearing, all right, God is sovereign, and we think, well, that means awesome. God is sovereign, knows everything, has all the authority, has all the ability. I know God through Jesus. So that means I'm going to figure out everything that's going on, and I'm going to finally know what's going on in my life because God is sovereign and I know him. How many of you know that's not true? It's like God's sovereignty, he doesn't work like that. He knows everything. He's in control of everything. But honestly, we don't see God's sovereign working usually until he's already done something. Think of it like you're driving a car. And we know God is sovereign and we know everything out in front of us. God is ultimately in control of everything. And so we're looking out the front windshield and we're driving and we're trying to look for the sovereign plan of God. And the truth is, we don't ever see it in the front windshield. If we do see it in this life, it's in the rear view mirror. Sometimes we're not going to see certain things until we're with Jesus face to face. He makes all things new and he tells us, this is why these things happen. This is what's going on. We don't see the sovereignty of God out the windshield. We see it, if we see it in this life, we see it in the rear view mirror going, oh. How many of you have had moments like that in your life? You're going through something crazy. You're looking out the front window. You're just like, God, what are you doing? And then in the rear view mirror, you go, oh, again, okay. Again, you did that. I doubt you. I freak out. And then I realize you're actually in control and you had something very clearly going on. That's what it means that God is sovereign. And then we have verses like this in Romans 8:28. It says, God makes all things work together for good for those who love God and are called according to his purpose. That's a big verse. That verse gets thrown around a lot, but this verse is speaking of the fact that Jesus upholds everything by the word of his power. And so what God is saying to us is that in his infinite sovereignty, he's working in and through everything and everyone for the joy of his people and for his glory. The fact that God is sovereign and God is gracious, that's coupled together. It says, for those who love him and are called according to his purpose, God's saying, I'm working in and through every situation at every time, everywhere, for your joy and for my glory. But why doesn't he just tell us what's going on? I mean, we want to know, right? We're going through something, looking out the front window. It's like, God, I don't know what you're doing. I'm doubting again. I'm freaking out again. Why doesn't he show us the map, as it were? I don't know. That's the simplest answer. I don't know. But I do know two things. I know that God's thoughts and God's ways are so much higher than our ways. That's what Isaiah, I believe it's 55, says. My thoughts are not your thoughts. My ways are not your ways. As far as the heavens are above the earth, are my thoughts higher than your thoughts, and my ways higher than your ways. So I know that. And I think with that in mind, for God to try to explain to us what he's doing and what's coming, it would be like a grown mother trying to explain to her 1-year-old what it's going to take for her to graduate college. Moms, you going to be able to explain that to your 1-year-old? I mean, they're saying like one word. No, we realize like there's some things that people at a certain level aren't going to be able to get. And I mean, that's a poor analogy because God's not just as smarter than us or wiser than us as if a 1-year-old to a 30-year-old. It's far more than that. But it helps us grab the idea that his ways are so much higher that we wouldn't even be able to get it. Number 2, why doesn't he tell us what's going on? He wants us to trust him. He wants us to trust him. He wants us to know and look at him, who he is and what he's done and how he's revealed himself. And he wants us to say, I don't know what's going on. I can't see it out the front window. But you've promised and you've proven yourself. So I trust you. It's hard. We cry out like the man in the gospel accounts that says, I believe, help my unbelief. Let me tell you something. Jesus is never hard on anyone that's struggling to believe. Never. Jesus is only hard on people in the Gospels who are refusing to believe. I don't want to believe. But those who come to him like the man, Jesus said, I'm going to heal your son. Do you believe? He said, I believe. Help my unbelief. Jesus doesn't speak harshly. But those who are struggling to believe and doubting and wanting to trust him and crying out, I believe, help my unbelief, Jesus gives grace.